recently, everybody, some pretty big news just hit. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about ESL and Faceit, a company that is in charge of basically handling the esports partnerships for Psyonix. If you don't know necessarily what that means, the most simplistic way I can put it is they're the ones in charge of running the broadcast, making sure that sponsorships are coming through, all that kind of stuff. When you see RLCS on the weekend and you see the graphics transitions and all that kind of stuff, ESL is the team behind that. Dreamhack is the one behind that. Faceit is the one behind that. It's also why we've discussed in the past that potentially when regionals in the world kind of gets back to normal, regional tournaments could be at Dreamhacks. We could see live events for regionals as well as majors, everything else. And we assume a lot of that partnership has to deal with like, oh, shoot, you know, we go to the Dreamhack that exists in the South or something like that. And all of a sudden there's a Rocket League tournament being hosted there for North America. And then there's a Dreamhack in Sweden or in Leipzig or whatever. That's also like an officially sanctioned RLCS event. That kind of stuff is where we thought things could possibly happen post-pandemic. Whether that happens or not, we'll find out. But what's crazy is Saudi Arabia, their public investment fund, decided to purchase all of it. Like they just said, ours, yoink, we want it. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to go over the article, talk about what exactly happened, and then we're also going to talk about what effects that may actually have on our ecosystem with the actual Rocket League Esports side of things. So it's pretty interesting on what ended up happening and how this came to be. The public investment fund for Saudi Arabia, I guess, has been going hard lately and been buying a bunch of stuff. So we'll see how things play out. But ultimately, if you guys don't know what's going on, we're hanging out here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Lawler, where we stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. Live discussing some stuff. We've got some YouTube frogs in chat, as well as for those watching at home. If you guys enjoy this type of content, thumbs up, subscribe, you know what to do. But let's jump in actually to the initial post that happened back in, gosh, I don't remember when this was. It was a while ago. It's gonna be very bright. I apologize. Let's dark mode this, save everybody's eyes. So a while back, this was basically the starting part of RLCS X. When RLCS X came into play, ESL and Psyonix partnered and created a multi-year partnership that will grow based upon Dreamhack Psyonix arrangement, is what this is stating. Basically like the things I talked about. It's a collaboration to make sure that going forward, productions, broadcasts, etc. will all be done through ESL Dreamhack as they came together. Faceit's now a part of that as well. But it talks about the initial partnership, and the points of it is to build upon last year's initial Rocket League Championship X Series collaboration between Dreamhack and Psyonix, in which Dreamhack operated the entirety of the 2020-2021 season. What's nice is moving forward, chat, RLCS is going to be named RLCS 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023. So we know exactly what classifies for this. And in this circumstance, it's RLCS X, 10th season. The partnership is to operate the competitions, produce the official broadcasts, and support the return to live events after a very long gap, with the first major to be hosted in Stockholm, Sweden as a players-only event. The collaboration between Dreamhack and Psyonix stems back to 2017 when Dreamhack initially entered, and I covered both of these. They were in Dreamhack Sweden and Jönköping, Sweden, which was a blast, minus the lack of sleep that we got. I remember myself and Wavepunk sharing a room where the two beds were like pushed together, like they were twin beds pushed together, and I'm like Wavepunk, I like you, bro, but I don't like you that much. And we both alternated snoring because we were jet lagged beyond belief, working 14-hour days. I would sleep until like 3 a.m. Then he would sleep from 3 to 8. And then I would sleep for a couple hours. Like, it was terrible. And then he also took the last speed train on the way home. So I got stuck for an extra day in Copenhagen with Karma, which was kind of a blessing in disguise, because getting to hang out in Copenhagen was absolute blast. I actually have unreleased footage from that LAN on my phone. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see it. Maybe I'll put that stuff together and finally do a vlog from content that is 5 years old. Whoops. But Jönköping, Sweden was awesome. A couple weeks after that, we then went to Atlanta. That's where the origins of the Muffin Men became, with Squishy, Gimmick, and Torment. That was the former Iris team that then brought in Gimmick, and then they had Success, and then they got signed by Cloud9, if you guys remember that. That was that year. That was Dreamhack 2017. The launch of Dreamhack Pro Circuit, they then gave us 4 Dreamhacks: Leipzig, Montreal, Dallas. I don't know if that's right. I forget the 4 of them. I could be wrong on that. I forget what 4 it was, but there was many deem Rocket League Esports 2019 the best. We had 2 world championships, and then we had 4 Dreamhacks. Leipzig and Montreal are the 2 that I remember. I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head for whatever reason. I don't know. Valencia. Thank you. Valencia and something else. It was Dallas. Aha. Thank you, Ron. Shoutouts to Rizzo's dad. Shoutouts to Ron. Ron, we gotta get a drink soon. So there was 4 Dreamhacks plus 2 world championships. It was like every pro was super happy about it because they're like, there's so much international competition and events to play, and we're all motivated, and it's amazing. And then obviously COVID hit, and then it all went away. So the partnership is to leverage Dreamhack and ESL's position as global leaders in esports to help bring RLCS competitions to more regions than ever before. New additions in Middle East and North Africa and MENA. You've got APAC North and South, and the SSA region, Sub-Saharan Africa. This is to help support Psyonix also in the commercialization of Rocket League, both helping to bring new opportunities for brands to engage in partnership and the Rocket League ecosystem, as well as bringing new media partners to expand the reach of RLCS. Prime example of this, chat, is most recently Rocket League Esports talked about the winter split, and they announced that, hey, there is a whole bunch of names for our events. We've got the Apollo Open going on, we've got this and that, and all these different names. I forget the Kronovi one, but I'm trying to find that graphic. I can't find it. Either way, there was a post in the graphic that shows like they have names for every single event, but they have the Mountain Open, the Kronovi Open is what I'm deeming it as, but they've got a bunch of different names for all the events. Those are the kind of partnerships that they're bringing in. The fact that this one this weekend is 351, which is the like NASCAR event, like they're doing partnerships and collaborations, which I think is in partnership obviously with Epic's involvement as well as ESL, Dreamhack, Faceit. I think that's the whole point of this. All that stuff is going down. They have a conversation about it. That was the most recent post about it that happened in December of 2021. PC Gamer then put out 3 days ago. So this is what? January 24th. That major esports host ESL Gaming is now owned by Saudi Arabia, which is crazy. Also, shoutouts to my mods for finding it in my Discord. Discord.gg/Lawler, by the way. Link in the description. Come hang out with us in the community. But this is the graphic I was talking about. So they've got names with those partnerships, trying to put things together so each event is unique, has a sponsorship, and that's really good. Not only does it provide a unique feeling for each event, but it also has different graphic overlays and insight. This is the hype chamber, as they've called it. But also the ability for funding. Funding is good. So this post came out, which was a pretty big surprise, and we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to also possibly talk about long-term effects. So major esports host ESL Gaming is now owned by Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has also purchased esports platform Faceit. Not 100% yet, but pending regulatory approval, a holding company owned by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has purchased esports event organizer ESL Gaming and tournament platform Faceit. According to Sports Business Journal, the price for both companies was $1.5 billion. Wow. Okay. I mean, it's no Microsoft buying Blizzard, but like, it's still a lot of money, right? As part of the acquisition, the two companies will merge into the ESL Faceit group and plan to combine their technology and expertise to create the ultimate platform for competitive gaming. ESL's headquarters is HQ'd in Cologne, Germany, which I'm pretty sure G2 is in Berlin. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Berlin is where G2 is located. And hosts major CSGO, Dota 2, and other esports tournaments, as well as Dreamhack LAN events following a 2020 merger. Faceit is a competitive gaming platform that provides anti-cheat matchmaking and tournament organizing for players and game publishers. For those that don't remember, there was original plans for Faceit integration into Rocket League. If you actually boot up Rocket League, there is a place for that still in the game client that no one uses. It was a pipe dream. It was a lot of cool options that we thought that we were going to have, like in-game tournament integration into the game. Like you'd go to Faceit's website, you sign up for a tournament, and then it would just auto API its way into the game. It was supposed to be really cool. I remember talking to, there's someone that I used to talk at Faceit, because when they were doing the NBC stuff for the 2v2, and he and I talked and had conversations at Dreamhack one year about what Faceit could be for Rocket League, and had a lot of conversations about it, and it just never really played out, which is really unfortunate, because I think part of the reason why it didn't play out is because Psyonix wanted to do their own tournament system, which they did. Hence the tournaments that we're used to now with in-game currencies and tournament rewards and titles and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. So I think Faceit wanted to provide that, but they wanted to do it from their website rather than in-game like Psyonix has done it. So I think that's part of the reason why it probably didn't work out in hindsight. The goal is to take games and players from casual competitions to arena events on one platform, which is cool. You obviously want a natural progression from casual playing in-game tournaments tournaments at a more competitive stance, live events. They want that transition to happen. They want it to feel as natural as possible. Obviously, the biggest involvement is in Counter-Strike, but you're also seeing like MetaFi has a huge focus as Smash and stuff like that. So like there are some of these organizations that have really big like staples in certain esports, and they want to expand upon that. And it makes sense that obviously Faceit, ESL and stuff transitions that into Rocket League as well. The holding company behind the merger is called Savvy Gaming Group. It was created in 2021 to drive it's been around for a year, and they've already raised enough funds to just be like, boop, let's buy ESL. It's crazy. Drive long-term growth and development of the games and esports industry worldwide, as it's fully owned by the Public Investment Fund, which controls at least 500 billion of the country's wealth and is overseen by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Savvy Gaming Group itself is led by CEO Brian Ward, a former Activision executive who helped lead the integration of Blizzard during the 2008 merger that created Activision Blizzard. Glad he is former because that situation is pretty messy. Blizzard didn't really do too well in the past probably 5 years. It's been kind of messed up. Hopefully Microsoft fixes things. We'll see. Last year's Saudi investment group fund controversially led a group takeover of the Premier League's Newcastle United Football Club. One of the deal's largest critics called it sports washing, defined as the use of high-profile sports teams or events to distract from the human right abuses. In this case, referring particularly to the jailing of activists and dissenters when the deal went through. Oh, that's actually pretty spicy. Despite assurances about a supposed separation from the Saudi state, ownership of St. James said in October. I'm just kind of browsing through this real quick to make sure if this stuff is relevant to. I mean, hopefully that's not the case. That they're just using money to like hush activist groups and stuff. That's not okay. Yeah, so the Newcastle takeover is kind of sketchy, and I hope that obviously doesn't translate over to us. So that's the general idea, is that you are now seeing big players that are not just buying esports stuff, but also traditional sports stuff. For what reason and intent, we can assume some things, and also I should probably do a bit more homework on that before I speak confidently about it. But new ownership is always really unique. We've seen transitions in ownership multiple times actually in Rocket League. Originally, it was in partnership with Twitch, and then Psyonix took it on with themselves, and they basically took care of the hiring of a broadcast team and stuff. They used NGE, or Next Generation Esports, based in Burbank, California, which is now Esports Engine. Turns out, chat, there's a lot of purchasing and engulfing of organizations and companies in the esports world. It's actually crazy. So Esports Engine also does all the Twitch rival stuff now. I did Diablo 2 remastered speedruns for them a couple months back. So I know a couple people over there, but it is pretty common to see this stuff. It is pretty common. What's unique though is seeing like a large ownership group, especially one that's only been established since 2021, come in and just buy the whole thing. There has been, according to Chad, like hesitations on allowing these to come in and purchase things like a premier team and stuff like that. An esports organization that has a lot of focus. What I assume and what I hope this does ultimately long term, ESL, Faceit, etc., now have some serious funding behind them, and the people that want to retire and get out can. But I hope the expertise and the people involved who have been doing it for a while continue to keep being able to do it. I hope that ESL and everything else continue to be successful and moving forward. And I hope this doesn't change much, because I do think the path that Psyonix is down right now is a good one. And the additions and the changes they're making to the broadcast have been pretty solid. I talk about the hype chamber stuff and everything else. Those are kind of the brainchild of the focus of where Rocket League Esports wants to go. And there's a lot more coming. There's a lot of really interesting stuff coming for Rocket League Esports, which should excite everybody. Things I'm not supposed to know about. Different ownership, I don't think personally is going to have too big an effect. There may be some red tape they've got to be a little bit more like cautious with about how they approach certain things. But I'm hoping that based upon organizational, if it's like Saudi Arabia based, maybe that means SSA is going to get more love. Maybe that means that MENA region is going to get more love. Who knows? Because this is the kind of stuff that ESL helps out with, is expanding those. I mean, we read the original post and some of the focuses on what it was, on expanding different regions and stuff. And ESL has their hands in a lot of different locations. So maybe with the funding and everything else, they can help provide and help out with that regard. It's still going to be coming out of Psyonix's pocket as their esport, but hopefully with having maybe potential like facilities and sites and locations that they can do this stuff out of, that you might get to see a little bit more growth and development in those regions. It'll be interesting to see how this one develops, if it has a big impact or not. Or maybe it's just a new dad comes in and just says, hey, I own you, but keep doing what you're doing. I just want to reap the benefits. I've got majority share, and the value is going to go up for me doing nothing. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's great. That tends to happen a lot. So who knows? I just think it's kind of out of left field. It's crazy that they went from traditional sports to now they're like, yeah, that esports stuff is pretty cool. It's like the complete antithesis of what ESPN did. ESPN was like, yeah, we're owned by Disney. We're losing money for the first time ever in like 50, 60 years. Rather than double downing on the one thing that's doing well while sports are gone, esports, that continue to live online, they decided to kill that entire department. It's a very interesting thing that North America tends to continue, and this is obviously super generalized. This is not well researched, but it definitely feels like, and North America is like, let's be stuck in our old ways and let's keep doing what we know works, while the rest of the world is like, yo, let's progress forward. It's just how it feels. I don't know. That's very short-sighted. It's very short-sighted, but based upon the things that I've experienced in the way that things are going, NA continues to be very reserved and just trust with what they know, while other countries try to be forward-thinking and progress forward and try to improve and try new things. I don't know. That's just my short-sighted take on it. I could be completely wrong on that. Wouldn't be surprised. But either way, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. New ownership coming for ESL Gaming. Whether it will have an effect long-term or not on not just like tournaments and Dreamhacks and all that kind of stuff, but also on just this in general. Like, I don't know if it's going to affect Rocket League or not, and Psyonix and their partnership and how that works, because from what it sounds like, it was a multi-year deal. So interesting stuff here. Interesting stuff here. Either way, if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, as always, let me know in the comments down below. Give it a thumbs up. If you've made it this far in the video, I assume you guys do like it, so make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so. We talk about stuff like this, as well as obviously Rocket League Esports stuff as a grand scheme of things. But massive shout outs to chat listening to me go on and on about this, as well as for anybody watching the video. And hopefully we see you in the next one. Peace.